Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, aka man of the people, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. You have a friend in the media, which is me. Any questions that you could have about this Carolina Panthers team, I'm your guide. Get you those questions answered. Anytime you got a question, just be sure to drop it in the comments. Or for bonus, be sure to turn on your bell notifications. Join me live where you can interact with me and ask me questions. You may notice my voice is a little bit strange. I have no idea why. I'm not sick. It started, I think, Sunday morning, and this is what it is. So hopefully by game day on Sunday, I will sound regular. But for all of you who may want to know how I'm feeling, I actually feel just fine. I just can't sound that great. But nevertheless, we're going to go ahead and get you up to date. There's a lot of transaction type news information that I want to make sure I got to you all today so that you can stay up to date with this team as they prepare to take on the New Orleans Saints. Again, a friendly reminder that I will be in New Orleans this Sunday. Pre-game show will be at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have a great show lined up for you. If you have not seen the pre-game show, it really gets you ready to watch the game with all the latest information about both teams as well as this year's opener. I'm going to have special guests. I'm going to have Vashti Hurt from Carolina Blitz, and I'm also going to have Alex Zetlow from the Charlotte Observer joining me on that show. So don't miss it. Set your reminders. All right, let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and say what's up to Antonio. First one on here, leaving a lot of messages. So Antonio, appreciate you. Hope you have subscribed. Please consider becoming a member. That's a link in our description to show you how to do that. Would love for you to be a member to get even more access to me and talk even more Carolina Panthers talk. All right, so without further ado, team captains have been announced. So let me go ahead and put this up on the screen for everybody to soak up and see who our team captains are. Now, originally, the coach mentioned that he'd have three, and he'd rotate a fourth. But you see, we have four, and he's going to just end up rotating the guy. You got two on the defensive side, Derrick Brown and Shaq Thompson. He said, the people have spoken. And when the people speak, he reacts. So defensive lineman, Derrick Brown, linebacker, Shaq Thompson, and then your quarterback, Bryce Young, and then safety, Sam Franklin Jr. Those are your captains for this 2024 season. There will be a rotating guy that comes on there as part of from the special teams area. So we'll see who that is. But congratulations to Sam Franklin, a guy who missed some time, but certainly has been playing extremely well as a special teams player and has been recognized and is now a captain. I strongly believe this is his first time being a captain. This is Bryce Young's first time being a captain as well, but he's only in his second year. But nevertheless, congratulations to all those guys that have made the list as captain. And as we get ready for this week one, we now have an official depth chart. So let's go ahead and check out this depth chart, starting with the offensive side. And you guys can just take a look at this and break it down as much as you want to. I'm just going to get it up here for you to see. Deontay Johnson, Dikembe Kwanu, Damian Lewis, Austin Corbett, Robert Hunt, Taylor Moton, Tommy Tremble, who's currently hurt, but we'll get to that in a second, Ian Thomas, Adam Thielen, Bryce Young, and Chuba Hubbard. Those are your pieces on the offensive side. So now let's go over to the other side of the ball, where we are going to have Derrick Brown, Shy Tuttle, Ashawn Robinson, Jadeveon Clowney, Shaq Thompson, Josie Jewell, and currently opposite of Jadeveon Clowney will be DJ Johnson, even though that is not going to necessarily be how it always is, but that's how we're going to start, and we'll continue to see who works out at that position. We also have cornerback J.C. Horn, Mike Jackson. He does not want to be called Michael, even though that is his legal name. Xavier Woods, Jordan Fuller, and again, you guys can see the rest of that list as much as you want to, but today's mission was to just get you this information. Let's continue to work through it. Special teams, really no surprises here at all, right? We got Raheem Blackshear returning kicks and punts. We got the journeyman J.J. Jansen, who is now on Twitter as your long snapper. Your punter, there's no competition there, no surprises. Johnny Hecker, and your kicker, who has survived a competition, Eddie Pinheiro is your kicker. So we've gone through captains, we've gone through the depth chart. Now let's talk about the latest transactions because Dan Morgan and his staff have been busy. They continue to be busy. Let's go through this one. Today, September 4th, we only have one transaction that we need to report. So that one transaction, signing tight end Messiah Swinson. This guy came to us from the Green Bay Packers, and he is now part of our 53-man roster. This, of course, coming in handy with Trimble and Thomas being questionable, not practicing, only leaving Ja'Tavion Sanders as one of our tight ends, giving us a grand total of giving us a grand total of 3. Ja'Tavion Sanders, Jordan Matthews, and now tight end Messiah Swinson. And, I'll always like to give you some information about how things work so everybody can increase their NFL knowledge. When you sign a player off the 53-man roster, off the practice squad from another roster, you have to and can only put him on your 53-man roster. And when you do, you have to leave him there for a period of 3 weeks. So Messiah will be a Carolina Panther on the 53-man roster for at least 3 weeks. Rules are in place just so teams aren't cherry-picking other people's practice squads or just borrow them for a game. They got to sign them to the 53. They have to be there for 3 weeks. And then they just can't release them. They just can't transfer them to the practice squad. They have to release the person. They then have to clear waivers. And then only at that point could the Panthers possibly bring him back for being on the practice squad. So I'm a big educator on this channel, so want to put that out there so that everyone can learn on how the practice squad players work. We got one more thing, the first official injury report. So I just got through talking about the guys that are injured, and that is Ian Thomas. He did not practice today with a calf injury. Tommy Trimble, dealing with a hamstring/back. Yosh Nijman, dealing with a tibia. He was limited in practice. And running back Miles Sanders was limited in practice with his finger. So you see that really corresponds there with the move with Messiah, considering that our 2 current tight ends, Trimble and Thomas, are out. We do a lot of 2 tight end situations. If one goes out, we'd have nobody. So we had to bring that third guy in for some insurance. Don't have to worry about his hands too much. He just needs to be a blocker. So even worried about, hey, there's a short week. He just came in on a Tuesday, game Sunday. What all can he do? Well, he's just going to be a blocker, right? Somebody said they can hardly hear my audio. All right. So I just switched over. Hopefully you can hear the audio better. And this is a live show. If you guys hear something that I don't hear, please let me know. That'll give me a chance to quickly address it. Hopefully the audio is better now. We'll stay here so that you guys can continue to hear me and go through the rest of the show. Thank you so much, Sid, for pointing that out about the audio. Not a lot today otherwise outside of all the transactions we just went over, from the captains, the depth chart, the injury report, and the transaction. That's really the major news. It seems excited. Everybody's ready to finally get started with week 1. It's a divisional opponent. Bryce Young spoke to the media today saying, he's honored to be a captain, naturally. Something he's worked hard for. Just believe he needs to be a consistent player to really fulfill his responsibilities in that role. But it's a very important responsibility. He also said, I know the media wants to hear a lot about me last year versus what's going on this year, the team and all that, but they're just focused on this year, getting this victory against New Orleans. That's what he would consider a success, going down there to New Orleans and getting a victory. That's the goal every week. Each game, the next game is the most important game. So that's all that he's focused on right now. And, I noticed Bryce, I felt like I noticed Bryce running a little bit more this year, not looking like he's just Well, quite honestly, I felt like he did run quickly as I watched him through all the training camp practices. But he says it's nothing that's been premeditated. It's nothing that he's been instructed to do. It's simply a matter of being a quarterback the way that Dave Canales is teaching him. He never wants to go in and say, "Hey, I want to do some run. I want to run this game," because he doesn't want to rush through his progression. So he specifically mentioned, "Hey, I got to go through my progressions. I got to go through the shot clock that's in my head, and then react and be ready to react." And that's what I'm doing. And that's what you may see more from him as being active in the pocket. It's just as he's going through those mechanics and going through that process in which Dave Canales has been teaching him. And he also mentioned that he's very much ready to play a regular season game and get this going. There's something on the calendar forever. You had to go through OTAs, training camp, preseason, and now it's here. So he's excited about that. Dave Canales also spoke with the media, of course, with lots of energy. Again, I'm just giving you guys the biggest takeaways from that time with Canales speaking with the media. It wasn't much, not in the sense like he didn't say anything, but they're getting ready. They have a guy that's practiced as Taysom Hill. He doesn't want to reveal who that person is on the team. He respects the defense and the staff of the New Orleans Saints and feels like their defense is pretty good, up in your face kind of team. Offensively, they got various weapons as well. Just general coach talk. But he did say this. They did practice with a good amount of noise today at practice, and I'm glad they did, because that place acoustically is loud. So it's going to be a challenge for me just doing my pregame show there this Sunday inside the stadium. Hopefully it won't be too much music like it was last year, but if it is, we all live with it and deal with it. So there you go. Got you all up to date. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Please consider becoming a member if you're not. Links in the description. Independent media supported 100% by you all. So the more that you all are able to support, the more that I am able to do for you all. And I love doing what I do. Thank you so much. Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe.